Chapter 36. What Midge Carried. And while the mouse slept, Despereaux put his terrible plan into effect. Would you like to hear, reader, how it all unfolded? The story is not a pretty one. There is violence in it, and cruelty, but stories that are not pretty have a certain value, too, I suppose. Everything, as you well know, having lived in this world long enough to have figured out a thing or two for yourself, cannot always be sweetness and light. Listen, this is how it happened. First, the rat finished, once and for all, the job he had started long ago. He chewed through Gregory's rope all the way through it, so that the jailer became lost in the maze of the dungeon. Late at night, when the castle was dark, the serving girl, Despereaux, climbed the stairs to the princess's room. In her hand she carried a candle, and in the pockets of her apron were two very ominous things. In the right pocket, hidden in case they should encounter anyone on the stairs, was a rat with a spoon on his head and a cloak of red around his shoulders. In the left pocket was a kitchen knife, the same knife that Despereaux had used to cut off the tail of a certain mouse. These were the things, a rat and a knife and a candle, that Midge carried with her as she climbed up the stairs. "Gore!" she shouted to the rat. "It's dark, ain't it?" Yes, whispered Despereaux from her pocket. "It is quite dark, my dear." "When I'm a princess," began Midge. "Shh!" said Despereaux. "May I suggest that you keep your glorious plans for the future to yourself? And may I further suggest that you keep your voice down to a whisper? We are, after all, on a covert mission. Do you know how to whisper, my dear?" "I do!" shouted Midge. "Then please," said Despereaux, "please institute this knowledge immediately." "Gore," whispered Midge. "All right." "Thank you," said Despereaux. "Do I need to review with you again our plan for action?" "I got it all straight right here in my head," whispered Midge, and she tapped the side of her head with one finger. "How comforting," said Despereaux. "Perhaps, my dear, we should go over it again one more time, just to be sure." "Well," said Midge, "we go into the princess's room. We will be sleeping and snoozing and snoring, and I will wake her up and show her the knife and say, 'If you does not want to get hurt, princess, you must come with me.'" "And you will not hurt her," said Despereaux. "No, I won't, because I want her to live, so she can be my lady-in-waiting, and I become the princess." "Exactly," said Despereaux. "You will be her divine comeuppance." "Gore," whispered Midge. "Yes, her divine comeuppance." Meg had, of course, no idea what the phrase divine comeuppance meant, but she very much liked the sound of it, and she repeated it over and over to herself, until Despereaux said, "And then?" "And then," continued Midge, "I tells her to go out of her princess bed and come with me on a little journey." "Ha!" said Despereaux. "A little journey. That is right. Ha! I love the understatement of that phrase. A little journey. Oh, it will be a little journey. Indeed it will." "And then," said Midge, who was now coming to her favorite part of the plan, "we take her to the deep downs and gives her some long lessons in how to be a serving girl, and we gives her some short lessons in how to be a princess, and we is all done studying up, we switch places. I gets to be the princess, and she gets to be the maid. Gore." Reader, this is the very plan that Despereaux presented to Midge when he first met her. It was, of course, a ridiculous plan. No one would ever, not for one blind minute, mistake Midge for a princess or a princess for Midge. But Despereaux, as I pointed out to you before, was not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And reader, too, she wanted desperately to become a princess. She wanted, oh, how she wanted, and it was because of this terrible wanting that she was able to believe in Rescueau's plan with every ounce of her heart. The rat's real plan was, in a way, more simple and more terrible. He intended to take the princess to the deepest, darkest part of the dungeon. He intended to have Midge put chains on the princess's hands and her feet, and he intended to keep the glittering, glowing, laughing princess there in the dark forever. Dun, dun, dun!